Imagine you're on a first date and everything seems to be going perfectly. Your date is charming, funny, and you can't help but feel a connection growing with every passing minute. Fast forward a few months and suddenly you realize the person you thought you knew is nothing like the one standing in front of you. The red flags are waving high, the boundary issues, the lack of empathy, the emotional volatility. You're left wondering, how did I not see this coming? Well, my friend, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. There's a method to the madness of finding a compatible partner, and I'm about to share it with you. Get ready to say goodbye to the heartbreak of falling for a fuckboy once and for all. This could be a total game changer for your love life. But before we continue, I would like you guys to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the notification bell icon so you do not miss out on any amazing and entertaining content to get your love life on track. First thing first, let's delve a little deeper into what we mean when we talk about fuckboys. These are individuals who exhibit a troubling pattern of behavior that can be detrimental to a healthy relationship. The first key characteristic is a habit of breaking boundaries. They may disregard your personal space, dismiss your feelings, or constantly push the limits of what's acceptable. This lack of respect for boundaries is a huge red flag. Secondly, they tend to have an inability to see things from anyone else's perspective. They're trapped in their own worldview, unable or unwilling to empathize with you or anyone else. This self-centered mindset can make it incredibly difficult to resolve conflicts or reach compromises in the relationship. Finally, and perhaps most concerning, these individuals often display a dangerous lack of emotional control and balance. They may swing wildly between emotional extremes, either overreacting with anger and volatility or remaining completely flat and unexpressive. This emotional instability can create an atmosphere of tension and unpredictability that no healthy relationship can thrive in. The tricky part is that these red flags don't always reveal themselves right away. It can take several months for the true patterns of behavior to emerge. That's why it's so crucial to take things slowly and observe your partner's actions carefully, rather than just going off of their initial charm and charisma. Be like a seasoned detective, looking for inconsistencies between what your partner says and how they actually behave. Pay close attention to how they treat not just you, but also waitstaff, strangers, and even their own friends and family members. Speaking of taking things slowly, there's a golden rule called 3-month rule. This rule suggests that it takes approximately 3 months for the real relationship patterns to start surfacing. During that initial 3-month period, you'll want to be especially vigilant and observant, resisting the urge to rush into big commitments or introduce your partner to your inner circle. Why 3 months, you ask? Well, it turns out that the initial romance and excitement of a new relationship can act as a powerful blinder, masking all sorts of red flags and warning signs. It's not until you've had the chance to really get to know someone, see them in a variety of situations, and observe how they handle the ups and downs, that you can start to get a clear picture of who they truly are. So, during those first 3 months, treat it like an extended audition. Don't make any major moves, like moving in together or blending families, until you're confident that this person is truly a good fit. Taking that time to really get to know them can save you a world of heartache down the line. Trust me, it's worth the patience and restraint. Okay, so now that we've talked about spotting the red flags and taking things slow, let's dive into this really cool framework called the Relationship Attachment Model, RAM. When we fall in love, sometimes we lose our minds. We overlook serious red flags, thinking that our new partner is perfect. And that's exactly where RAM model enters the chat. But before we dive into what RAM model is, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found yourself in a situation like this? If so, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to let me know that this resonates with you. Alright, let's keep going. The key to avoiding the jerk trap is all about mastering the Relationship Attachment Model, or RAM for short. When you look at the concept of love with the RAM model, you will see that there are 5 different aspects of love: how much you know a partner, how much you trust them, how much you rely on them to meet your needs, how much you commit to them, and how much you touch them or have a sexual relationship. The key is to keep these components in balance. You don't want to be more physically intimate with someone than you are committed to them, for example. Think of it like a sound system. You want all the sliders to be in the right place, not too high or too low. If one component is way out of whack, it can throw the whole thing off. Diving deeper into the first component of the RAM, the know stage is all about developing a profound understanding of your partner as a whole person, beyond just surface-level details. This is the foundation upon which a healthy, lasting relationship must be built. Getting to truly know your partner means exploring their core values, their past experiences that have shaped them, their aspirations and dreams for the future, and how they approach challenges and problem-solving. These deeper insights can only be gained through thoughtful, probing questions that go beyond the typical small talk. For example, instead of just asking about their favorite hobbies or where they grew up, try posing questions like, "What is your biggest regret in life and what did you learn from it?" Or, "How would your closest friends describe your personality?" Inquiries that delve into their inner world, their decision-making processes, and their authentic self will reveal far more telling information than simple preferences or biographical facts. However, it's not enough to simply listen to your partner's responses. It's crucial that you also pay close attention to their actions and behaviors to see if they align with what they're telling you. Do they demonstrate integrity and follow through on their words? Or are there inconsistencies that raise red flags about their true nature? Carefully observing both verbal and nonverbal cues is key to developing an accurate, well-rounded understanding of who your partner really is. With a solid foundation of knowing your partner, you can then progress to the trust stage of the RAM, evaluating the degree to which you can rely on your partner's honesty, consistency, and accountability. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship, and it's not something that can be rushed or taken for granted. Building trust requires patience, vulnerability, and a willingness to observe your partner's behavior over an extended period of time. Do they follow through on the promises and commitments they make? Are they transparent about their thoughts, feelings, and actions, even when it's difficult? Can you count on them to have your back, especially during challenging times? One illuminating way to assess your partner's trustworthiness is to pay close attention to how they treat the other important people in their life. Their friends, family members, and even strangers they encounter. Do they demonstrate the same level of respect, consideration, and reliability in those relationships as they do with you? Inconsistencies in their relationships can be a telling sign that trust may be on shaky ground. Ultimately, developing trust is a gradual, delicate process that requires consistent evidence of your partner's integrity over an extended period. It's not something that can be rushed or taken for granted, especially when the stakes of the relationship are high. Transitioning to the rely component of the RAM, this stage examines the degree to which you feel you can depend on your partner to meet your needs and have your back, especially during challenging times. It's not about being completely dependent, but rather having the confidence that your partner will be a source of support and stability when it matters most. One key way to evaluate the rely stage is to observe how your partner responds when you're going through a difficult situation. Do they step up and offer emotional, practical, or even just a listening ear? Or do they tend to distance themselves or get defensive when you're in need? Pay close attention to how they handle your vulnerabilities. This can be incredibly revealing about their capacity for reliability and dependability. It's also worth considering the everyday ways in which your partner demonstrates their commitment to supporting you. Do they follow through on the promises and responsibilities they've taken on? Can you count on them to be there for the mundane yet essential tasks and chores that keep your lives running smoothly? Consistency in the small things can be just as telling as how they respond in a crisis. Remember, the ideal here is not complete dependence, but a healthy, balanced interdependence. You want to feel that your partner is a steadfast teammate who will weather life's storms with you, without either of you losing your own sense of independence and agency. Striking that careful equilibrium is crucial for building a relationship built to last. Reaching the commit stage of the RAM, we now explore the vital element of commitment, both yours and your partner's. to the relationship, and to each other. Commitment can manifest in a variety of ways, from making long-term plans together to being deeply emotionally invested in the partnership. Regardless of how commitment is defined in your relationship, the key is ensuring that you and your partner are on the same page. Are you both equally ready to take things to the next level, whether that means moving in together, getting married, or simply deepening the level of intimacy and future-oriented thinking? Or is there a disconnect, with one person wanting to commit more than the other? Mismatched commitment levels can be a major red flag, as it indicates a fundamental incompatibility in where you both see the relationship heading. You don't want to be the one investing more emotional energy, time, and resources into the partnership than your partner is. That's a recipe for resentment, heartbreak, and being taken advantage of down the line. Pay close attention to the language your partner uses when discussing the future, as well as their actions and follow-through. Do they shy away from long-term planning? Are they reluctant to introduce you to their inner circle or integrate you into their life in more substantial ways? These can be telling signs that your levels of commitment may not be aligned. Achieving a healthy balance of commitment, where you both feel equally secure and invested in the relationship's trajectory, is crucial for weathering the ups and downs that all couples face. Take the time to have honest, open conversations about your hopes and expectations in this area. Delving into the final component of the relationship attachment model, the touch stage addresses the physical and sexual aspects of your partnership. This is a sensitive yet vitally important area to consider when evaluating the overall health and balance of your relationship. The key principle here is that physical intimacy should not outpace the emotional, mental, and commitment-based connection you share with your partner. It's all too easy to mistake physical closeness for true intimacy, which can lead to overlooking red flags and staying in an unhealthy relationship for far too long. After all, it's exponentially more difficult to walk away from someone you've been physically intimate with, even if they're ultimately not the right fit for you. Physical touch has a powerful ability to create a false sense of closeness and bonding that can blind you to your partner's true character. So, the advice is to take it slow. Build that solid foundation of knowing, trusting, and relying on your partner first, before allowing the physical relationship to progress. Rushing into physical intimacy before the emotional groundwork has been laid can be a recipe for heartbreak down the line. It may not be the most exciting guidance, but tempering your physical connection until you've had ample time to truly get to know your partner could save you a world of pain. Better to be patient and selective than to find yourself entangled with someone who turns out to be a jerk. Alright, let's take a step back and summarize the key insights we've discussed about how to avoid falling in love with a jerk. The overarching strategy is to take things slow, approach new relationships with a detective's eye, and use the RAM as a guiding framework to ensure your relationship stays balanced and healthy. Start by being vigilant for red flags like boundary breaking, lack of empathy, and emotional volatility. Don't just take your partner's word for it. Closely observe their actions. Then apply the RAM's 5 components: know, trust, rely, commit, and touch to methodically evaluate your burgeoning relationship. Make sure you're not rushing into physical intimacy before you've had ample time to develop the emotional, mental, and commitment-based connections. Keep all the sliders in balance rather than letting one area get way ahead of the others. And remember, patience is key. Don't make any major commitments or introductions to your inner circle until you've had at least 3 months to really get to know your partner. It's during this initial period that the true patterns of behavior tend to reveal themselves. Following this careful, intentional approach may not be the most exciting dating advice, but it could very well save you from the heartbreak of falling for a jerk. Trust your instincts, take it slow, and refer back to the principles outlined in this video. Your future self will thank you. If you want to dive even deeper into this topic, I highly recommend checking out Dr. John Van Epp's book, How to Avoid Falling in Love with a Jerk. Now, I want to hear from you. Has this ever happened to you? How did you navigate that situation, and what advice would you give to others who might be going through something similar? Leave me a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this whole dating minefield. And if you're feeling extra generous, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another juicy relationship advice video from me.